Okay, I think we're good now. I see a Jason in the chat. How awesome is that? The sex robot has arrived. That's not foreboding at all, isn't it? Or foreshadowing, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, man. But anyway, title kind of says it all right now. I have some spoopy videos, and we're just gonna chill. No real big thing tonight, and I'll just confess, part of the reason for that is that I want to play more video games right now for you guys, but my PS5 controller bricked, and I don't have a backup one, so I gotta wait till payday before I go grab myself another one. So until then, I'm gonna just kind of do what feels right. And what feels right is showing all of the weird, spooky, stupid, and or funny things I find on the internet. And today, we're just gonna chill. We're just gonna watch some videos. Specifically, I have here a collection of backrooms videos, actually, because weirdly enough, the backrooms are like one of my favorite like YouTube horror series, just because of how weird and like crazy they kind of are. So yeah, I'm gonna share those with you. Now, they're originally done by a guy named Kane Pixels, and Kane Pixels is pretty dang cool, actually. Does a lot of these like incredible CGI things, and those incredible CGI things usually involve some whack shit that kind of scares that doesn't scare the hell out of me, really, but it's deeply kind of unsettling. And he has another one that I really like called The Longest View, and it is oddly profound, but also really unsettling to watch. But we're not talking about that one today. Maybe I'll talk about it a different day. Because, why not? For right now, we're just gonna go into the back rooms. But allow me to kind of set the stage for you a little bit before I actually get into what the back rooms actually are. So the back rooms are sort of what happens if you glitch yourself out of reality and end up in this weird liminal space where entities reside. That's kind of a weird way of putting it, but that's the long and short of what's going on here. So, now that I have the proper setup going on, I think we should just dive right in and just start watching Backrooms videos. Just let me scooch over real quick. Feel free to get comfy on my couch, because we're gonna get spooped today. We're gonna get spooked today, ladies and gents. Let's see. I'm also gonna have to tone down the background music a little bit more. Actually, you know what? We're gonna watch spooky videos. We don't need background music. You don't get an escape from the spoop that's about to occur. And I hope you all brought your brown pants as well. So, here we go. Gonna start with the first video that's called Found Footage. And my housemate is being a Dorcas right now. Hang on. Hold on. Give me one sec. And my housemate just... What are you doing? Stop. Lord. You good now? Okay. Jesus Christ. What happens when I allow myself to assist in the charging of articles? Oh well. Anyway, backrooms. There we go. I'm gonna turn it up just a bit.
Rolling. All right, and action. All right, cut. Cut. That was good. That was good, guys. All right, that was good.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
thinking we get a wide angle, and then we're done. Okay?
All right. Yeah. Cool. Like how much further? Like
A little more. A little more.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
By the way, how trippy do you think that would be? You're going through your day, you're hanging out with your buds, and then all of a sudden you just trip and you find yourself in this weird yellow office space. I'm not gonna lie, I think it'd be pretty cool, but maybe that's just my robot bias speaking. I imagine for people it would probably be pretty unsettling, though.
Hello? Hello?
Another cool thing about this is that all of this is done in the style of like found footage. So, I mean, it says it in the title, but all of them are, I guess not all of them are like that, but most of them are sort of like video logs or different, like, I don't know how to put it. Some of them are like scientific logs, digital logs, found footage. You'll see.
Hey guys. What is this?
Hell yeah. Oh man. You know what's weird is that he does such a good job on the effects too.
Hello?
I know.
Is someone there?
By the way, I hate to be that guy, but did you see it? Like, let's roll it back just a little bit. Just a little bit. Hold on.
Hello? Is someone there?
I couldn't pause it in time, and I accidentally enlarged the screen, but there was a dude at the end of the hallway, or at least it looked like there was someone poking their head around. He'll become relevant later. I know it kind of bears without saying, but I love how this gives sort of like PT-ish vibes almost. Or at least that's what I thought the first time I watched this. It's very fascinating. But what's this? A ladder to a hole in the wall? Peculiar. And now we're in a realm of green light. You gotta wonder why.
Can anybody hear me?
More limited
Hello?
space.
Damn it.
You know what's funny is that I know what's coming. And it amuses me. But can I just say how awesome it is that Kane actually manages to build all of this suspense before he shows you something? I think it's one of the cooler parts of his body of work, in my personal opinion.
What the hell? What the hell?
Don't move. Stay still. Yes, he gets chased by this anomalous creature. There's one thing that I wish that they'd do here. Actually, nah, it's alright. This is part of the style, but that would be very disorienting to run to. Look there, a gap in the door. Are you sure the only you is you? Not really. Well, whatever was chasing him made him fall down a hole. And it doesn't seem to be very interested in following. But we do have ourselves a little bit of a different situation now. Which way do you go? Left, up the stairs, or do you go right? It looks like he tried to go a little ways up the stairs and is experimenting with lights. Poor guy. Now this is one of those moments of, like, interesting liminal horror that I really enjoy. Take a moment to just look at this image. It's something that's very clearly within the trappings of what we would consider normal, but it's also something that's just like... it's also just something that's very, very off and wrong. Because we've all seen, like, office corporate courtyards. At least pictures of them, or, like, images of some description involving them. So, when you get an image like this, in my opinion, where it's just like... When you get an image like this, where it's like, in my opinion... something that's clearly meant to be familiar, but it's also... I don't know, it's like watching an alien trying to pilot a body and not quite figure it out. This is sort of the architectural equivalent to that. Alright, let's keep going. Wait. Oh no. Okay, there we go. I also just love the very different environments that you see as you traverse the backrooms. It's part of the reason why I find this so fascinating to watch. And this moment here, too, is just... It's again, it's like the trappings of a high-rise, but... Not really.
This isn't real. This isn't real.
It's like if the Stanley Parable went very, very wrong. I better tone that down a little bit. Can you also imagine how unsettling it would be if you were stuck in this situation? Like, you've just fallen out of reality wherever you are into this impossibly liminal space, being hunted by weird creatures in this constantly yellow, constantly, I don't know, visually monotonous space with darkness in some of the hallways. That's a tad bit unsettling, don't you think? Imagine having to try and hide like this. Just how wrong a creature like that has to be. It's another hole down. And I think our guy just got taken out. For some reason, the camera finds its way back. What do you think happened to the guy, though? That's something that I've always wanted to know, is what do you think happened to the guy? We're gonna go through all of these, or we're gonna go through as many of them as I can before I have to go to bed. But occasionally I'm gonna probably stop and comment on some of these, but that first one sets the stage for something pretty incredible, I have to say. Data not accessible. Well, that's a shame. Reformatting. Loading archive.tar. Oh, looks like there's an ad going right now, so... Alright. While there's an ad going, I'm gonna sort of take a guess at what happened to the dude at the end of that video, because I don't think he made it out of the back rooms, even though his camera clearly did. I think he's still in there somewhere. Either wounded or probably dead. It's kind of difficult to say. I have an idea of where this poor kid might be, but I don't want to really speak on that until we actually get a good look at him. You'll see what I mean soon enough. For those who are watching with me right now on YouTube. If I post this on YouTube, I don't know, I might not. The Hangout ones... well, I don't know. People react to stuff all the time, I guess. But... now that we're back from the ad break, let's keep going. I can't remember if he does the flashing subliminal things in the background every once in a while. I have to imagine that he does at some point. Yeah, we're getting some images. Now we're just gonna try and see what's going on. It seems like they're trying to research something. I like how all their faces are redacted as well. Like, you don't really get to see what's going on in here, but it's interesting. Excuse me. Hey, Kite, what's up, dude? We're watching spoopy videos. Specifically, I'm showing the backrooms right now. How you doing, bro? I like the implication, too, that they're studying the backrooms in some ways. And that there's apparently a null zone. Do you think in that null zone that the creatures can't really get you? I'm doing pretty good, Kite. I'm just going back to normal, and I'm doing more of these hangout ones, at least for now. Lucas and you started playing the blueprints last night? Ooh, okay. How's that going? Yeah, I'm trying to just get back to normal now, and I'm just doing these hangout streams.
1988, the ACID research facility tested its low proximity magnetic distortion system for the third time. Details regarding the results of the experimentation have not yet been released. During a press conference held in April of
Alright.
1988,
I can dig it. That sounds like something I would like to try at least once.
Foundation described the intention of these tests, stating this program is granted sufficient backing from the United States government will offer a solution to all current and future storage and residential needs and save billions of dollars on property construction and
I really like that they explain this bit too, where they're not just doing nothing with the backrooms, that they're just trying, that they'd also consider, like, trying to use it for, like, storage and, like, housing and residential. Because, yeah, that's something that makes sense. If you have a means to be able to provide all that stuff with an existing bit of infrastructure, especially something as anomalous as an infinite space full of random rooms, I guess, then yeah, it makes sense that you would want to do something like that. Oh, hello, Lucas. I can't see you, but my digital soul can probably scan the two of you there. Not really. I'm in a spooky mood right now, so we're watching some spooky. Nice. Yeah, I like that they actually justify the lore of why the backrooms do. That's pretty cool to me. And the fact that they're, like, justify the usage and the utility of it. Or they try to. Alright. Looks like the third test didn't really go as planned. But now we're gonna see that there's some first contact. Alright. We're on test number 6. Hey, Sleeps, what's up, dude? Let's see, modifications. Triple support beam on internal chamber 23A. Introduced 13 plus additional RF cavities. Parenthesis L372, and parenthesis introduced redacted into the redacted. Replaced detectors at 4190. High precision beam now monitors for vibration exceeding 90,000 megavolts and or... Yeah. Can you tell that I'm not programmed for electrical? Oh, hold on. What was that? Go back. I need to see those again. Okay, so one of them is for a solenoid magnet, a tracking chamber. There's an O side. How you doing, Sleeps, by the way? There's a muon filter, and there's also trigger chambers. Presumably they're trying to power the backrooms. Doing alright. Just hanging out, watching spoopy videos. Specifically, we're watching the backrooms right now. Because this is one of my favorite Kane Pixels thing that he's made. He has another thing that I really like too, called The Oldest View, but maybe I'll save that for a different hangout day, when I'm feeling spoopy again. Actually, yeah, The Oldest View is unsettling in all the right ways. So is the backrooms. And actually, I kind of prefer the backrooms in its more simple state like this than what the internet did to it. Uh-oh. There's an anomaly. But yeah, The Oldest View I really love. It's a, unsettling in all the best ways. But uh-oh. Seems there's an anomaly. Missing Nicholas Bolton. Another person Watts. Another person missing. Presumably from falling into the backrooms. Another person missing. Ellis White. Aww. He's just a kiddo. How have I not noticed that that one was just a child? That's a little off-putting. Your favorite thing about The Oldest View is that the giant is very real, even if it has nothing to do with the creepypasta, and it looks just as creepy in its original state. I agree. It's got this very unsettling gravitas to it. It has this very unsettling gravitas to it, and it makes it feel like, yeah. Makes you feel like you're watching something that you shouldn't be watching. Or that you're watching something that's like half remembered. I like that there's a, that these guys are approaching the backrooms in such a logical way. Setting down a guideline, bringing equipment, hazmat equipment. I guess it makes sense. It's almost like you're doing, like, cave diving, but in a corporate office. If that corporate office just procedurally generated like a roguelike. Precisely. You'd have to do it kind of like you would cave exploration, I would imagine. But, uh-oh. It appears that we found a casualty, and it appears that there's this, like, weird mold or fungal growth. I think there's a clicker around the corner? Not really. Uh-oh. I'm gonna go back a sec. If anybody... What is that supposed to say? If anybody... DL... Oh, blame him. If anybody, blame him. I'm dumb. I interpreted that as a D. John Doe autopsy report. Well, this is going to be interesting.
Somewhere between 18 and 21 years old.
Alright, I said I was going to bring it up earlier, but I like to think... Well, I don't really like to think about this, but I think that you watch these and seen the Wendigoon breakdown of this, so you remember a lot of stupid little details. I watched the Wendigoon breakdown of it a long time ago. But I don't really remember a whole lot. But I have my theory about the John Doe being that kid from the beginning, and that we're just finding him after being shreked by the backrooms. Just me speculating, though.
I estimate that the time of death was around 5 days ago, but due to the severe tissue damage, it's hard to say for sure.
Yeah. Oof.
The cause of death was likely malnutrition. I was able to recover most of the digestive tract. So,
That's a little sad.
things start to deviate from what we would consider to be natural. The decomposition process appears to have been stunted somehow. It's like portions of the body stopped decaying and were sustained.
By the weird fungal growth on the walls?
Completely overtaken by culture. So, I took a couple samples of some of the material here. At first, I thought it was an aggregated collection of Pseudomonas fluorescens, but it seems to be closer to a mutated strain of simple hay bacillus. Which it should be completely benign, but well, really, I don't know what to make of this.
That's a little...
Mr. Beck, may I ask where this subject came from?
Yeah. I think that this boy is either one of the missing poster kids, or he's the guy that we were following in the intro. But that's just purely my speculation. Uh-oh. I feel like I should have taken note of those words that were on the screen, but... For internal use only for async.
Welcome to the Project KV-31 Research and Development Team. In this short, informative video, you will be briefed on the required protocol in regard to Project KV-31, as well as receive an overview of future development plans. What is Project KV-31? Project KV-31 pertains to the study and development of the async low-proximity magnetic distortion system.
Oh?
For the sake of convenience, you may hear your peers refer to the project under any of the following titles: the machine, the door, the back rooms, the complex, hallways.
I think it's interesting to note here as well that this is the first time in this series that we've actually ever seen these places referred to by name. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but I think it's an interesting little point of detail.
These terms outside of the async research facility is strictly prohibited. The threshold without guided supervision.
Okay.
Never enter the complex alone. All expeditions are to be comprised of no fewer than 3 individuals.
Makes sense. And then we have the threshold, it seems, where you can gain access.
Yeah, but that was 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to do anything about it now. I mean, do you really think that that's actually a option in this situation? I mean, there's too many variables. It's probably to
I'll wait.
set the whole
I'll save it.
purpose. It's doable.
There's something that's kind of on my mind right now
So you don't have
about some of the story and plot details.
I'm going north.
Doesn't seem to be anything in there. At least not
Guys,
yet.
can you hear this? Hey guys, can you hear this? Hey! Guys.
Well then.
Guys. George. Move it!
You want to walk around in the pool rooms? That would, I think, just trying to get to a level of the back rooms that's mildly safe would be an interesting experiment in and of itself. So I know that like most of the online lore around the back rooms has them doing like a bunch of weird and different things. I remember there being like a hotel level. That's probably the one that I'd want to be stuck in. I also like that they showcase there that time is a little bit weird in the back rooms. That it's almost relative in a weird way. And it looks like your colleagues didn't do so well there. Alright. Especially if you aren't directly with other people, yeah. Like we just saw there where it looked like they just sort of phased out of existence, or that he was just witnessing something that happened not too long ago. It's very weird, and I like that weird. Excuse me. Now there is a void. I wonder what he'll find at its threshold. Alright, so there's natural wallpaper instead of just the yellow. That might be a little bit of a nice change of pace, honestly, especially if you're very much used to only seeing, like, the dull yellow of the complex. There's a wheelbarrow, there was an axe back there, a couple of wheelbarrows, facade of what looks to be a storefront. How very peculiar. Now we are back in the complex. Do you guys think he took the axe with him? Sorry, that was more of like a meme question than anything else. Imagine getting lost in there, though. That would be odd. But it looks like he found something. A wood mall, you would honestly hope not. Can you imagine how heavy that would be while walking around the back rooms in a hazmat suit? Yeah, it was more of a meme. It was more of like a meme question. Sometimes I think it's funny to apply like game logic. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. But here we find what appears to be the old research facility.
Hello?
Uh-oh. You may not have clearance, my man. I like that this started as an informational video and then it just sort of ended up devolving. But that's a very interesting proposition that they have about converting most of the backrooms into these livable spaces. And not only that, but like places of commerce and living and all of that. March 5th, 1990. Motion detected. Alright. I'm ready if you are. It looks like they're actually constructing what appears to be a gate. You know who else? That's just generally Kane Pixels videos, combining infomercials, found footage, combined. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I mentioned that earlier when I was introducing his videos because I really adore what Kane Pixels does with his stuff, and not only that, but I like all of the intentional like thought that he puts into all of it. Like when they were explaining the lore of like how they wanted to use the backrooms as like a sort of storage facility or residential. Yeah. It's just something that I really adore watching. Like the first one was just strictly like, how do I put this? The first one was strictly just good found horror. Now it's more ambient suspenseful horror. You also love the interviews where some of the extreme forethought was accidental, where he had to make it make sense in the continuity, which is lovely in and of itself. I agree. Alright, so researchers are passing by. So there's a motion detected. Another motion detected. Returning researchers past Central Division D. There it is. Motion detected. Supervisor passes camera 6. He sure does. Noise detected. Threshold barrier closed. Noise detected. To be determined. Noise detected. Microphone failure. He never paid attention to the movement of the characters. That supervisor's feet didn't move like they should have. His foot looked like it slid in place at one point. It kind of did, didn't it? It's all mostly a little uncanny. But that's what happens when I think you do some CG work. Oh, it looks like something's watching. Yeah, look at that. It looks like something is watching. and observing. Is Robob's model having a stroke? No, it's not. Is it kind of like whacking out every time I look over at my screen? I really hope it's not. Like, yeah, I hope not. Ugh. Courtesy of Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Ugh. Yeah, the eyes were just spasming like I was having one. Oh no. They should just be trying to look down, I guess. I kind of wish I had contact lenses so that I wouldn't have to worry about, like, my glasses glaring and interfering with the tracking of my eyes. But, c'est la vie. There's a lot of things that I would probably want to do if I ever got a version 2 model. Understandable, you have a very specific lighting setup and you don't often use your VTuber model. Yeah. There's a few things I'd like to do if once I get my version 2, but... you know what, I'll talk about it a little bit. It's fine. I thought it would be cool to do like a, whenever I hit like milestones is when I upgrade my model. So then eventually I'll be like gigabyte or megabyte or, you know, just lame like data puns. Yottabyte. See, that's when I make a tiny green model with... Oh, agile. Hold up, I'll pause and we'll wait a little bit. We'll wait till the class comes back. I'll take a sip. Sippa. Oh no. Why have I done this? Oh no. Mistakes were made. Oh my god. Alright, okay, we're good. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're good. I'm glad that I always keep a little towel there. My goodness. Okay, it says here that the ad is done. So let's keep going. But yeah, I always thought it would be funny to do like little like data related jokes about.
1, 2, 3, Mark, mic check.
You're all good. This is Marv. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Marv, mic check. 1, 2, 3.
Great.
And I think Yottabyte would probably be like, I do a tiny green man. And that's only after I hit a very specific threshold, I guess. But each one would be like pretty like weirdly referential, I suppose. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. I thought I broke something real quick. Oh. You want to draw a bite at some point, but robots and mechs are such pains to do. Oh, man. I'm gonna confess something.
Has the vertical expansion?
When I had my model made, I actually did draw like
When does that go to?
what I wanted him to look like myself. And
When will the tour be over?
Actually, here's a little fun behind the scenes. Byte was already like an OC that I had thought about for quite a long time before I actually like put the idea to like commission, I suppose. I wish I remember the company that I paid to make my model, but next time when I get my version 2, I want to like commission someone from Twitter. Have to weed out like all the people who are like the bots or I know, funny coming from me, but yeah, so Byte was actually like my first idea that I ran with when I decided I wanted to do the thing. But if it helps you out a little bit, half of my reference images are actually not Gundams. Half of my reference images were actually Mega Man Zero and Mega Man ZX characters. It's like, I'm gonna take a quick pause just so I could show you what I mean. Like, I'm gonna zoom my... let me flop in the middle of the room real quick. Oh, my goodness. But, yeah, check it out. I'm gonna actually hover a little bit. I'm gonna stand on my table, you know what? Yeah! I'm standing on my table. But, yeah. Most of my art references for this is Mega Man ZX and Mega Man Zero. Screenshot taken of me partying on my desk. Gotcha. Alright, let's see. I'm big. Alright, let me scoot all the way back into the corner again. Go to the naughty boy corner. The naughty boy corner. Wait, I'm still big. Don't mind me, I'm just an idiot. Alright, here we go. Let's keep going. Oh god, but it's weird to think that I've been doing this for almost a year or so. You're doing it. Among the random practices, Byte will be one of the slow projects. Aww. Thank you. I had someone at one point say that they were going to make me a present, and, you know, if I ever get it, that's awesome. If I don't, then I really dig the thought that they had behind it.
Might be at an angle.
It was someone on Twitter named Bug who wanted to do, like, me but squishy. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. But yeah. If I never get it, then that's fine, but I just thought that the idea of it was super cool. And actually, no, she sent me, like, a concept of it that I thought was really, really dope. I have it saved. I should save it to my computer at some point. Oh, I see what you mean now, Sleeps. Because I saw that guy's, like, feet slide around for a little bit. Trying to do, like, the tracking.
Okay.
Now that I've seen that, I can't unsee it.
Sure, yeah. Okay, just,
Hmm.
Okay.
Nah, it's okay, dude. If you hadn't have seen it, I probably would have seen it eventually. Now, hopefully this guy doesn't fall into the waffle of the floor. That would just be unfortunate. Ooh, subliminal messages. I don't know what it's... Whoa, boy. Welp. He just fell into the waffle of the floor. That's unfortunate.
I think I pulled something in my shoulder. I'm a bit dizzy, but no, I'm fine.
I don't think my friend is okay. He
It's
fell quite a
different.
distance.
Like a room up there, but architecture's the same, but the wallpaper is different. It's a bit greener. Oh.
Right.
Hold on, I need to see if...
No. None of you can see this, but
I'm not reaching that
while
number
we've
myself.
been watching, I've also been
You
working on
can press the
Gunpla.
wall, but it's too high.
I wish I had a hand cam so I could show like what I'm working on, but
Got it.
Is the camera intact?
yeah. While we're
I'm recording.
hanging out and watching this, I've just been working on Gunpla off and on.
Mark, make your way back over to this side. Carefully. Do you have another camera?
I wish that I had one, but
Stakes precedence.
I just don't. And I think I'd feel awkward if I just randomly started showing my hands.
There won't be enough length to reach you. George, go right back to standard and bring a tether.
Hand reveal.
Hang in there, Marv.
What was that?
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I didn't hear anything up here.
There's a spooky going on right now.
I think there's somebody down here. I hear yelling. Like a person is yelling.
Wait, a person?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That makes no sense. Are you sure you're not just hearing us?
No, it's definitely not from you.
Uh-oh. And where do you think that goes? Not really. Excuse me. I always thought this was one of the more trippy parts of the backrooms.
Are those streetlights?
Just coming out of like an automobile tunnel.
Under the gap in the wall.
You need to stay at the hole. George will be back any minute, then we can assess the situation from there.
Yeah, I always thought that this was a really trippy moment.
But what if Miller's right about the null zones?
It's so weird.
Even if that's the case, I agree with Mark. It's not worth the risk.
Oh my god.
Marvin? Marvin, do you copy?
Had to take a drink of water, sorry.
Hello? Can you hear me?
What are you doing?
It's so weird.
I know how to get back. It's fine.
It's so weird to see a suburb after you've been stuck in the complex for too long. This almost feels more alien than the liminal space of the complex itself.
It's like a neighborhood.
Hello?
I love that the noises are uniquely unsettling as well.
Can you hear me?
Like, you know he's clearly going into some place where he should not be going.
I'm entering one of the houses. I can see where the yelling's coming from.
Okay. This is odd.
Yeah.
There
So than the rest of everything, it definitely, yeah.
coming out of the carpet.
They're inverted?
It really does feel like a,
Mirrors. They're not oriented properly.
how do I want to put this? Uh-oh. Someone's screaming for help. It's another quick pause, real quick, but one of the other things that I've been watching lately has been like cave exploration disaster videos. And now that I'm watching the backrooms again, can you imagine what it'd be like if you had a caving like disaster in the middle of the backrooms? And how just mortifying that would be? I just felt like voicing that particular take before we continue. Is it evil for me to say that? Probably.
I think I'm losing you. Just stand by.
This might be a weird take, but I honestly think it would be more terrifying than a cave. Because with caves, you know you're dead. In the back room, yeah, exactly. In the back rooms, you don't know what's in there. Precisely. I couldn't have said it better myself, actually. As I was going to say, I think I would rather be stuck in a cave than the back rooms. If I had to face like a caving-esque disaster. Because at least in a cave, you know where you stand. In the back rooms, it's more like going through the Chalice dungeons in Bloodborne. Oh, hold up. We have a Banivator who's trying to get me cheap viewers on Stream Boo. Well, guess what, son? Guess what? To the Shadow Realm with you. I hope you enjoy it in there, and I hope you have fun applying the clown makeup. You absolute ultramaroon. You doofus. I'm not even reading your name. Hell yeah. We have the circus music. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I'm not even gonna read his name, because his name is inappropriate.
I think someone's been living
Nasty. Somebody's still screaming for help.
Hey! Can you hear me?
I know I paused a bunch of times, but I feel like I gotta pause again just to put this image in your guys' head. Did you know, and I think I might have heard this from either Japanese this is Japanese mythology with the Gasha Dokuro. It's said that the further away the thing sounds, the closer it is to you. And the closer it sounds to you, the closer it sounds to you, the further away it is, but the further away it sounds, the closer it is. Just wanted to put that little unsettling nugget in your brain. And I know that the Gasha Dokuro is like a giant skeleton, but can you imagine if those rules applied here?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
So the further away he was, the closer he is. The further away sounding.
That is not a fucking person!
Uh-oh. You got noticed. They can apply here if they need. Ah, yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That would be so harrowing. Oh man, that would be so harrowing.
Okay, I'm here. Set it down.
Gonna take a moment. Grab it. Yeah, hold it. Okay.
Alright, are they gonna send the briefcase down, or...?
Stand clear, we're sending it down.
Yep, there it is. Now, you may wish to escape, my friend, otherwise, you're probably gonna get molded by a strange eldritch abomination. I also like the implication that they were organized enough to be able to set a, maybe not a tether, but like a form of guidance, so that they can get to that point.
That is not a fucking person! What? Morgan, talk to me. What do you see?
Uh-oh.
What's going on?
They're watching it.
Talk to us.
Alright. Threshold's opening. Among Us. I'm sorry, that was such a stupid joke. Uh-oh. I've shattered the mood with a stupid Among Us joke. Alright. We are heading into the laboratory. And what will we see? I think one thing that I think is pretty dang cool is the fact that this is very clearly not an evil corporation. It's a research group that's just trying to understand something and is progressively getting more and more horrified by the things they discover. It's very refreshing. Am I implying that the SCP Foundation is evil? Well, I think it's a necessary evil. And actually, watching this gives me very similar vibes to back in the day when we used to see stuff like SCP-087. Yeah, no, I love the facial acting that's going on here, because they're doing an excellent job. It definitely conveys, like, genuine horror about what the situation that they're in. I like it. I liked it the first time I watched it, too, but I'm really, really enjoying it. Seems to be a report. Uh-oh. Hmm. Oh, okay. Think depending. Okay. I can do maybe a few more videos and then I'm gonna have to sign off because I have to go to work pretty early in the morning. But I wanted to come and hang out anyway. I wanted to come and hang out just to see everybody and watch some spoopy videos. And maybe introduce people to something new. Because I really do like the backrooms, and I really do like the lore and the story being told here. And I like that. This is just another small lore tidbit, but I like that after Async realized that there's so many, like, there's something genuinely dangerous in the backrooms. They didn't do, like, the stereotypical evil corporation, evil organization thing. And they actually, like, did a precaution to try and mitigate the circumstances of what's going on. I don't know why, but I think that's nice and refreshing. Alright, so we'll go through, like, 3 more videos, I want to say. And then we'll call it good. We're watching a road. Okay, so I know that they meant that to be terrifying, but there's always been a little bit of fridge horror, or not fridge horror, but fridge humor for me. Can you imagine being the entity down there? You're chasing someone, or you're a researcher or someone exploring exploring the depths of the you're exploring the depths of the complex, and then all of a sudden a car just comes barreling through just for no reason. I wonder if Wendigoon said that. But that's just a really funny thing that I just thought of right now, where I'm just like, what happens to you? Well, obviously I know what happens if you get hit by a car, but I wonder what your reaction would be if all of a sudden you got jump scared by an SUV just barreling down the hallway.
The world around us is ever changing. Throughout this past century, we have seen the advent of countless innovations that have completely reshaped.
The outdoor section exists for a reason. Yeah, it does.
But with all of this
But I needed to throw that fridge humor in there.
Products that, if left unchecked, have the potential to irreversibly scar our modern world. As human expansion is projected to increase exponentially in the coming decades, we must account for these never-before-faced challenges in ways equally never-before considered.
All right.
Here at Async, we believe we have found the solution. the low proximity magnetic distortion system.
Partway through doing face shapes of the bite, and it looks like Ant-Man.
What is the low proximity magnetic distortion system? Using 32 will be distributed across all points, allowing for cargo and personnel to seamlessly pass through their designated threshold.
Okay. That's such a cool idea,
While
though.
our current threshold is limited in scale, future models will be able to span entire rooms, allowing for the transfer of larger vessels and equipment.
It's such a cool idea. And actually, I'm gonna pause real quick, but I think this is such a cool setup for like an anime, weirdly enough, where it's like you have this big liminal space, but then all of a sudden there's a world-ending event, and the only place you can go is into this strange liminal space. But there's also dangerous entities in there that are going to probably kill the survivors. And you don't know just how deep it reaches. I feel like that would be really, really cool to watch as an anime. Okay. Maybe it's just me. It's just like Attack on Titan, but, you know, with a space. Also, partway... Oh, wait, no, I already read that. Oh, wait, I think Ad Jail is about to start. God, that's such a cool idea. What? Nuh-uh, really? Is that real? Is that a thing that we'd actually want to do? Oh my god. I'd have to learn how to do storyboarding. Actually, I'm trying to learn how to do traditional animation right now, just so I can make a... Oh wait, Ad Jail. Let's see. While Ad Jail is going on, I'm going to keep the video paused, and oh god. Let's see. That would be such a weird thing to try and actually make, though. I'd be down, but... Oh, God. Okay. Oh. Sorry, I had to adjust in my seat. I was reclining back for a moment. And then I started to doze off. Alright, it looks like the Ad Jail is done. But, okay. Fair enough. Not gonna lie, though, I've been trying to study, like, Bluethian era animation just so that I could make a lore video for Byte. Yeah, so I've been trying to draw, like, my own storyboards for that. They're not very good, and I'm doing it in, like, a notebook. But I think it'd be cool to have, like, a little intro animation to try and let people know. Animation is easier than you might anticipate. The hard part is planning the frames out. Yeah, that's the bit that I'm actually noticing right now. Maybe on the maybe on your Discord, I'll post like some of the stuff I've already done. It's kind of It's kind of poopy, but I have some ideas for the little animation I want to do. But I thought it would be cool to have like a brief lore video about how I came to be. Tell the story. Listen to my story. This may be our last chance. Alright, let's keep going. Now that we're out of ad jail. But yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll do like a brief storyboard of said hypothetical anime. Because that could be pretty interesting. It'd be like Attack on Titan meets Made in Abyss. That's kind of how I'm imagining it. Corporate offices. Commercial space. Yeah, dude. That'd be so weird. Where it gets more and more, like, trippy the further down you go. Residential. I have a feeling that people's, mental health wouldn't do good in seeing yellow all the time. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool to do Concept 03. No, there is science to back that up. Oh, look, they're showing concepts with different, like, wall colors, but why do I feel like the backrooms wouldn't let you change the wallpaper? Or would you just plaster over the wallpaper? Hard to tell. That's why a lot of bathrooms in certain corporations are yellow, to keep employees from wasting too much time in the bathrooms. Yeah, because yellow's a very garish color. I don't think I'd want to spend all of my time in a room that was like this washed out yellow color. Something about it just feels like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just dumb, but it just feels uncomfortable. It just feels bad. Feels bad, man. And you know what? We'll get through this video. How much time's left on it? Like, but then I'm now thinking about this hypothetical anime because it's so weird. It's so interesting. Because I think I could also use a plot point for a short story I wrote once. That might be pretty interesting. Or maybe I'm just overthinking things, but I'll share that when we are done with the video. And then I can yap for the rest of stream. Dough Tape Archive. I like that they actually went to the details of, like, planning out that each section of Backroom is like a cross shape. And then that's just not really how it ends up being. The Dough Tape Archive. Mind if I add you on Discord? Not at all. Go ahead. I feel like for people that I tangibly know and actually have a lot of respect for, I want to add them, so I count you on that list. It's only for people who, like, try to shill on Twitter that I don't add on my Discord.
Commercialization could have been expedited. While
Twitter X is a. It's like the digital equivalent of getting waterboarded. I'm just gonna be blunt about that. Yeah. I feel like the only time I'm gonna add people on my Discord is if I know I'm actually gonna like talk. Twitter is the only thing you'll dead name. Fair enough. Fair enough. It's not a it's not my favorite place to be, and oh shoot, I forgot that I was supposed to post that I was going live over there. Whatever. I could make one mistake today. It's fine. Okay. I think that's going to be all for the videos, but now I want to kind of yap about this hypothetical anime, because it sounds awesome. Like, legit, it sounds pretty awesome. And actually, let me put background music on again. I'm going to put some... I'm going to put... Oh, God. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. Oh, my God. I'm revealing everything about my YouTube preferences. Alright, let's see. I'll just go to my usual playlist for a bit. For some reason... Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. You said rough line work. First picture, very Ant-Man. Second one looks like a Super Sentai style character. Oh my god, I need to see this. Oh my god, I need to see this. Yes, that's dope. Oh my god. I accept the request. Heck yeah. Dude, this is dope. Hell yeah. I like that. The second one very much gives me like Ultraman, and I'm here for it. Dude, hold on. If I ever get to Gigabyte, that's what I need to do. I need to be a Super Sentai with JoJo anatomy. That's what I need to do right there. You're starting to feel more comfortable and back into your prime of art. Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. As it should be. I need to get back to art myself, even though I'm poopy. But yeah, I kind of want to shell out a little bit what I think would be cool to do for... Oh my god, why did I do this? Also, boy, I'm going to start to pivot in building a JoJo, but... Yeah. I am 110% threatening you with a good time. Especially if it's season 5 style JoJo, where they're sleek and slim, but they still look like they're chiseled from fine marble. Alright, let's see. I can spell, I swear. Hypothetical animu. Alright. Now, in this hypothetical animu, I like to think that the general plot of it is that Earth is ending. So Humanity must escape. Escape. Escape to a back room / made in abyss style pocket dimension. Escape. That's French for get the fuck out of here. Fair enough. Alright, let's see. And then there's a thing there so there's a short story that I wrote a long time ago about the world getting raptured, but it follows the people who were left behind. And it's 12 people who are some of the most reprehensible people on the planet. So it's like you have like people of all different stripes who have committed some of the worst crime or done some of the most like awful things on the planet. And I think it'd be an interesting twist to have like 12 people survive this end of days scenario, but all of them are like reprehensible pieces of shit. You know what I mean? I feel like that would be a very interesting twist to do. Or not even really a twist, but you'd get like insights into what their lives were like, where they were able to do things like when they were able to do things back when shoot, how do I want to put this? So it would show like snippets of their lives before the world ended, and it would be showcasing like the kind of awful person that they were before all of this hypothetical apocalypse went down. But the one that we follow is probably like not saying that one particular set of, well, I kind of am saying that because some things are actually worse than others, but I like to think that the character that we follow in that case, so like back and forth between creepy survival and terrifying, horrible human trash. Yep. 110%. But like the main character, I like to think is a corpo. So somebody who owned a business, did a startup, did something, earned a lot of money through less than honest means, took full advantage of budget cuts. Like, you know, when you think of evil CEO, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But we actually get to see him like turn around and start to realize how much he values human life, that kind of thing. So instead of seeing people as like numbers on a ledger, he ends up seeing like, oh, well, Dave from accounting was actually a human being and I was a shit human being for making him work Christmas or something. You know what I mean? But now it's far too late, and he's one of 12 people who have to Hunger Games their way through the backrooms. If that makes any sense at all. But because the backrooms, or like this backrooms-like area, tends to look more like familiar surroundings, just liminal, just in like liminal space form, I think it would be very interesting to like see how these reprobates actually go through and confront the evils of their past, so to speak. You know what I mean? So it's like one part Silent Hill, but it's also made in Abyss. So like certain hallways look like scenes of the horrible crimes. Kinda. The way that I was thinking about it was more like the trappings themselves are incidental. Like they would have occurred no matter who goes through them, but since each of these 12 people are different flavor of reprobate, certain environments that they traverse trigger them in different ways. So, like, the complex would probably trigger, like, the CEO who starts remembering what life was like before the end of the world. But to all the other ones, it could just be like, oh yeah, we're just walking through boring office spaces. But then you could get to like a residential area, and then someone who was maybe a serial killer could be like, oh, well, I remember how I used to stalk people and cut them down when they weren't looking. You know what I mean? So the horror comes a lot less from the environment itself, even though there are certainly creatures in there that are hunting them. And more from, like, how the perceptions of the characters themselves actually play into what's going on. You know what I mean? And it's sort of like each person is facing their own individual judgment with each layer that they traverse. And maybe some of them can't hack it. You know? It's like the worst therapy session on the planet. That's kind of what I was thinking of. Because I wrote a short... Like I said, I wrote a short story like that once, but combining it with this hypothetical anime thing seems interesting. But you almost want to write this as opposed to making it a comic animation. This could actually be terrifying for people to read this and imagine this instead of having visuals. Right? Okay. So maybe instead of a hypothetical anime, this could be like a, I don't know, like a light novel. That'd be pretty interesting. But yeah, so maybe you have someone who, like, used and abused the people around them and, like, gaslit them and, like, told little white lies all the time, and you had, like, the CEO character that I just mentioned, and maybe you had, like, a serial killer, all kinds of different things. Just the worst examples of humanity that either have to confront their evil or be destroyed by it. Because that would be, oof. I can already think of some of the ways that the other characters would not survive this potential backroom scenario. And also, there's something that I would want to do for the monsters. This is purely, like, my personal take on how to do monster design. And it's that I'd probably never show or describe what they really look like. Because I adore cosmic horror. And I really adore, like, kind of like what you're saying there, where it's like, you almost want to imagine the darkness instead of having it explained to you. You know what I mean? So, yeah. You love letting people's minds create the monsters. So, you already have the people who are monsters in and of themselves, but then they have to face something that's incomprehensible for the most part. You know what I mean? And all of them have to suffer through the darkest deed of their, like, the darkest stains of their soul, while also trying to figure out what the thing that's hunting them is, and they just never figure it out. If they even can survive it. That's the kind of thing that I like. What do you think? It almost reminds me of a monster that I made for D&D. And that monster I just called the Formless. And it was more like psychological horror encounter than it was an actual monster fight. But the idea behind it, you love it. And the other fun bit is if the characters describe their past deeds to the other characters. So when they fear the monster, so then they fear the monster and each other. That could be interesting, yeah. Or how about this? How about this? I just thought of this right now. What if, instead of them like directly talking about what their pasts were like maybe some of them do it directly. Like maybe the serial killer is the one who like comes clean the easiest about it, I guess. Maybe not the easiest, but is the most transparent about that. But some of them have done things that are so reprehensible and so awful that they just keep it quiet. And they keep it largely to themselves, and they do not say it out loud. But the deeper they get into this environment, the more evidence they find, like the rest of the group finds, of the past transgressions. So, like, parts of the destroyed Earth outside of the pocket dimension fall in as well. Like, similar to the backrooms. So, perhaps they'll find something like, oh, I found the journal of this guy who committed necrophilia. Or something like that, you know what I mean? So that way, the truth comes out in a way that none of the other characters really want to talk about. And it's just bad enough where it's like, oh no. You know what I mean? And of course, because of the narrative, we have to put them in like thematically appropriate places. So yeah, so some of the people, I like to think that some of the people got so many designs for scenes going on in your head. Yeah, me too. Me too. Like, I already know that one of the scenes that I think would be very interesting is... Okay, so like, in the original short story I wrote, it was more of like a Fallout situation, but the CEO himself had to slowly recognize the value of human life as like the rest of the group around him were dying. So at first he kind of slipped into the old habit of, yeah, these people are vaguely useful to me, they're expendable. And clearly they view me as like the de facto leader because I'm the only one here who has like my head screwed on straight. But the more the other group members die, and the more he hears like their individual like thoughts and feelings, even if they're like reprobates, and even though they're like some of the worst people on the planet, he starts to slowly see that like they're not too different from him in that they've done awful things. And they have this darkness in them. They have the capacity to do like the worst things possible. But at the end of the day, even like the most broken and most disturbed among them were still people, you know? Like even the serial killer, the reason why he would do it, for instance, is to get revenge against like a mafia family that had murdered his entire family. So he repays murder with murder, so to speak. That kind of thing. So, and then once you've established a certain amount of empathy for the character, even if they're the worst people on the planet, you then end up in a situation where you're with the CEO character, where at first he's like, oh yeah, I could definitely leave these people behind, because hypothetically, if you're being chased by a bear, you just have to be faster than the slowest member of the group. He goes from that to wrapping his tie around his fist and holding a roll of quarters or something and being like, you know what? I may have done a lot of terrible things, but maybe I could at least do one thing right in this awful life that we're living now. You know what I mean? Or maybe he doesn't even need to fight something. Maybe it's just like he sacrifices parts of the rations that he'd been hoarding for himself and that he wasn't going to tell anybody about, and just be like, yeah, I found these like TV dinners the last level that we were on. Let's eat, all of us. Have a feast with some shitty cake or whatever. You know what I mean? This is a cool idea. That would also make for an interesting, like... Let's see. Let me snooze the ad real quick. So the question is, does everyone die in the end of the story? Like, they slowly die off and it's just the one character? Actually, no. So, maybe we could go in a different direction for this new story that we're formulating, but when I wrote the original short story, the way it ended is 2 characters survive. The CEO, who now fully appreciates the value of human life, and there was also this, for lack of a better word, almost this, like, self-centered Karen character who abused her children into working for her, so she always had, like, a stream of income. She lied about disability. She lied about everyone around her and would talk crap behind people's backs and actively pit people against each other and gaslight people. That kind of thing, you know? And then when she starts to realize, like, the weight of her lies, it's already far too late. Like, she's already signed her own death warrant, pretty much. And she ends up surviving along with the CEO in the original story I wrote. But the catch is, even though they've already learned this lesson, and even though they've already kind of grown close, they both kind of hate each other too. Like, imagine standing in a room with someone that you know you've been through hell with, but you know too much about them. And so, like, you survived, but now you're traumatized even more. You're traumatized by the fact that you now have to confront the fact that you were a terrible human being, on top of the fact that you're now standing next to someone that you can't even trust. You know what I mean? So, the way that I ended the story the first time was bleak, but it was very much a fate worse than death, almost. Someone that you not only can't trust, but understands they can't trust you either. Exactly. So, like, the CEO character, it's fully out that at first he just thought of everyone as an asset that he could vaguely use to survive himself. So that by the time he learns the value of human life, there's only one human life left, and it's one of the worst people he could think to be stuck with. Especially since this person is about as big of a liar as he is. Or was, I should say. And then when she finally realizes the weight of her lies, she's stuck in an environment with someone who could easily use her just so that he lives one more day. So, they know they need each other. They know that they need to rebuild somehow. But they cannot stand each other. And the life they lead now is like... I hesitate to use this word, but it's kind of apt. Like, it's sort of like serving penance, but it's like the Greek ironic kind of penance, I guess. I don't know what the right word for it is, because I'm an idiot, but it's sort of like an ironic, thematically fitting punishment, where it's where the punishment quite literally fits the crime. So maybe in this like new story that we're theory crafting right here, maybe what it could be, karmic justice. Yeah. That's a good word for it. But yeah, so while they're traversing through like this backrooms, made in abyss style hell in this pocket dimension, these characters who are some of the most reprehensible people on the planet either destroy themselves, get destroyed by the entities in there, or the few that do survive are worse off than when they started. And it was all mostly of their own design. And I like the kind of stories where the writing's on the wall fairly early, so even though, like, to use the CEO character as like an example again, like, even though, like, right in the beginning, we know that he's a reprehensible piece of crap, where he's viewing everyone in terms of, like, the utility that they can give to him and his survival. By the time he realizes that they actually had worth past utility, it's already far too late. And now he's stuck with one of the people in the group that he's hated for a while and he can't really reconcile with. So even though they've sort of learned their lesson and had the whole... Again, I don't really like to use this term, but they have this sort of, like, come to Jesus moment. And now they're, like, mostly mentally reformed in a way. It doesn't really matter because they've breached trust with each other, you know? That might be a very, like, dumb way of putting it, but I think that would be a cool way to approach that. Where the writing's on the wall pretty early, but... let's see. Somewhat reminds you of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Oh, I love that book. Though the characters weren't like serial killers or anything too extreme. They're still not good people. Yeah. Yeah. It's very much that, except instead of a hyper AI that wants to consistently torture them for eternity, they have to go through the backrooms or a Made in Abyss situation. And then two people or like a few survive at the end, but they all hate each other and they have to live an existence that's worse than if they had just died. You know what I mean? Give it a really, really bleak ending. It's almost like if you played the Hunger Games in the backrooms. Oh god, that would be terrifying too. But yeah, basically none of them are good people. But at the very end they suffer a fate worse than death. And that is to live with the weight of what they've done. I feel like that would be an interesting way to end a horror story like that. Thoughts? Let's see. Alright, even if you don't pursue this, you're going to start casually writing stuff, and if you can come up with a story that feels presentable, you're gonna start on it. Heck yeah, dude. I might not actively work on it. Like, I'll spitball ideas and things like that, but I highly encourage it. Like, I don't really publish my own writing because I'm not very confident in it. Like, hold on. I guess to give you, like, an idea, you are legit inspired and you like having stuff to keep your creative juices flowing. Fair enough. Yeah, dude, I highly encourage you to do that. since you're, like, very inspired by it, sometimes I just come up with random stuff on the fly. So, if you want to actively pursue it, I am 100% on board for you to do it. Like, when I write stuff, I'm not very good at it. So, I would very much like to see what you come up with. Because, even if I personally never do it, I think you should. I was at one point working on like an anthology of horror stories, but I sort of gave up on it. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll read my stuff on stream, but there was a time I thought it would be cool to be a writer, but I don't think I have the chops for it. Well, we'll see. Because I'm planning on streaming tomorrow. Maybe... How about this? I plan on streaming tomorrow. Maybe I could read one of the short stories that I wrote, but am not, like, entirely convinced it's that great. I say that about all my stuff, though. I don't know. Maybe I'll read the one that I wrote tomorrow when I stream, because I do plan on streaming tomorrow after I get off work. There's an incoming ad break in 10 seconds, and I'm about to end, dang it. My goodness. I'm gonna wait until ad jail is done before I talk more. Oh, good lord. There's a lot of interesting stuff that I do. Let's see. I'm also directing most of my attention making my own TTRPG, and I work on that off and on sometimes. I'm going to type that out since we're in ad jail. And then I'll just read out what I type. Oh, not an ad jail. Fair enough. Oh my god. But yeah, most of my attention right now in terms of writing is focused on that TTRPG. I work on it off and on. I'm trying to do like lore writing for it as well. Oh, now you're in ad jail. But yeah. I'm working my TTRP PG. I'm working my TTRPG, and after I get the mechanics of it down, I plan to lore right for it. Yeah. Back. Awesome. But yeah, no. I highly encourage you, Sleeps, to take this idea that we have created today and run hog wild with it, because I want to see what you do with it. For my writing, even though I'm dog shit at it, I'm working on the tabletop RPG. Also, there's Kat in here. What's up, Kat? How you doing? We spent some time watching the backrooms today, and now we're talking about writing cool narratives. And I also may have inadvertently promised that I'd read one of my own stories on stream, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm nervous as hell to do, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to do it anyway. But yeah. The tabletop RPG that I'm working on, I'm in a weird position with it right now, actually, because one, I have to kind of defeat the negative self-talk I have in my own head about my own work. And on top of that, this is like a more general problem that I have with it, is that I wrote most of it down in a notebook. So I have to translate all of it into a digital form. So I've been trying to work on it, like, off and on, trying to put it into a Google Doc, which takes a metric crap ton of time. I'm not gonna lie. And even then, I'm in like this debt. It's kind of like a debt spiral almost, where I'm like, oh yeah, I just came up with this idea, or I needed to clarify a rule on this page, so I needed to write it in the notebook. And then I end up, like, forgetting, oh yeah, I have to put it on the digital form, too. So I end up, like, adding more to the notebook. And then I end up, like... having to add it into the digital form. Maybe I should just enlist people to help me with that, because I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm doing with writing for a tabletop RPG. I know I have, like, DMing experience, but actually, like, engineering a game is something that's less my... Well, no, I like to think it's my speed. I took a game design class, damn it, but... Again, it's like the negative self-talk I have to, like, shut up in my brain for a little while so I can actually get shit done. I don't know. Maybe I'll share what I'm working on stream one day. But, to nobody's great surprise, you need me to look on Discord right now. Okay. I'm a-looking on Discord right now. Oh my god, that's glorious. What the hell is this? It looks like Smiling Friends, but with mushrooms. Dear god, this is awesome. There's a parrot on the mushroom. Does the mushroom have titties? The mushroom has titties. Okay. Oh my god. That's incredible. What the hell? I also like the metal band beard tail that one of them has. Also, is one of them, like, spewing out the flame of frenzy from Elden Ring? How else would you know it's the mama mushroom? It's like the flame of frenzy from Elden Ring. That's crazy. And then there's just this random parrot that's just chilling. He's like, yep, this is a common occurrence here. Oh my god. That's incredible. I love that. I love that so much. Cat, this is awesome. He's their pet pierogi. I love that. Hell yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god, I actually just got totally sidetracked. But yeah. I should just enlist people to help me out with the, I should enlist people to help me out with the RPG, because maybe people who play a lot of RPGs in a very similar vein can help me out with this. To nobody's great surprise, I'm making a mech tabletop RPG. I know, shocker coming from me, but I've honestly always wanted something that kind of scratches the itch of both BattleTech and Armored Core. Something that's like far more real robot. And that's what I'm trying to make. So, need to send you a rule set at some point so you can steal stuff from it. Oh, never mind. Yours is less real robot. Yeah, so part of the lore that I need to transfer over at some point, because I did write down like a basic outline of it, is that, you know what? Why not? I'll talk a little bit about it now. Just why not? Is that, it takes place in like the very, very far future where the Andromeda Galaxy has collided with the Milky Way. And you still have humans and all that, but they're a far more rare species, and now there's human descendants in the Andromeda Way galaxy. And the mechs come about as a result of a rebellion group taking control of these large construction robots, like construction and mining robots called loaders, and fitting them with tank weaponry, basically. And the mechs of the setting that I'm trying to write, you can't really use firearms on them, because small arms fire doesn't really do much to these mechs. And even if you do have like a ranged weapon that works good on them, it's expensive and the ammo is prohibitively like hard to acquire unless you work for a corpo kingdom. So for the most part, mech combat is conducted at close range. And not only is it conducted at close range, it uses principles of like, okay, we need to target melee attacks to the vulnerable parts of the mech that you're fighting. And each faction has its own like way of fighting, I suppose you could put it. But I also decided that there wouldn't be any directed energy weapons in here because I like low-tech stuff. Like, okay, this is just a personal bias for me, but even though I really like space tech and how it works, I also really like low-tech stuff. So the mechs of my setting don't use directed energy weapons. They all use kinetic weaponry. And it uses like very much similar principles to how armored knights might try and fight each other. Where you're trying to aim for gaps in the armor, you're trying to aim for vulnerable circuits. And the whole idea behind the RPG, and I'm gonna have to translate the rules a little bit, because each party of players doesn't get their own mech. They all contribute to building one mech. So you have like an operator who oversees the construction of like the sensory suite and like the electronic warfare and how the ECM works, all that kind of stuff. Then you have the engineer that does gadgets and extra tech and extensions and stuff for it, whereas the actual pilot gets to change the weapons and armor. Basically what I did was, and this is kind of a weird ethos that I'm taking, but I made it so that you, like, imagine breaking down what a D&D character can do, and then have the players control the different functions of that D&D character. If that makes any sense at all. That's kind of how it works, like conceptually. I'll have to send you the rules themselves, just so you can get a look at them, and maybe I'm... nah, I don't know. No, I'll just send you the rules that I have written down so far. I still have a lot more to translate from the notebook into the Google Doc that I'm working in, but yeah. You're a fellow DM. Maybe I can get some helpful feedback if you're down. If you're not, then I won't. But I think it'd be cool if I could send it to you guys and see what you have to say about it, you know? I'm not very confident in my own work, though, so... If it's dumb, then I apologize. Okay. Yeah, that's true. But yeah. I'll just send you the rules I have down so far, but that's the premise, basically, is that it's more real robot, and I've taken kind of, like, inspiration from a lot of the stuff that I used to like in franchises. But it's also... I also wanted to kind of make it its own thing. Because it's... Like I said, I kind of conceptualize it as, like... You take the individual parts of what makes an epic D&D character, and then you have different players controlling different aspects of that character. And that's basically the mech. And then you have... But I also incorporate... Oh, no, that's what I was going to say before I went off on a tangent. Is that if players want to have a game... Feels kind of like Warhammer in lore. Kind of, yeah. Oh, yeah. I did want to incorporate rules of, like... You return to use as ASMR for sleep. Fair enough. Is Bite wearing zip-off khakis? He is indeed wearing zip-off khakis. But yeah. So, the way that I conceptually use the mechanics of my RPG is that I really just want it to be more... I don't know. I just sort of took the stuff I know I like in mech-related things and threw it into this game. But I also didn't want there to be, like, easy outs, like directed energy weapons or space magic. So, instead of that, you have machines that use, like, mining drills and grapnel lines, and they have to use, like, chainsaw scissors that rip mechs in half that are supposed to be used to, you know, cut down trees or something. Just very low-tech stuff, but still semi-high-tech, if that makes any sense at all. Yeah, I'll definitely send you the rules for it. I'm still working on it off and on, so... Yeah. I'm still trying to also think of what I want for the lore, so... That's a thing that I gotta think about as well. But anyway, I'm gonna have to call it here for now. Oh my god, I actually ended up talking longer than I thought I was. Jesus Christ. I need to get ready for work. I start early and I end late tomorrow, so... Yeah, if you guys want me to send you the rules, Not at all, dude. I actually like talking to you guys about stuff. It's very, I don't know how to put it. It's very, like, nice to get stuff off my chest and to just talk freely. It's not something I'm used to, that I'm trying to get used to, especially since I'm trying to be a streamer. So I actually appreciate you having the patience to listen to my incoherent rambling. Thank you. But yeah, I'll probably send you the rules before I go to bed, just so that I can remember, just so I remember I did it. Yeah. And Kat, if you want, I can send you the rules too, so I can get 2 different opinions if you want to look at the dumb mess that I'm working on in the background. Like the tabletop RPG stuff. And also, Sleeps, you gotta, once you have like a thing written down for the story we were talking about, you gotta show me. You gotta show me what you done, because the story sounds like it's gonna be super sick. Hell yeah. Alright, so I'll send it to both Kat and Sleeps after I get off stream. But yeah, I'm gonna have to call it here, so I guess I'll do the outro now. Wow, I'm usually not this scatterbrained. Good night. And let's see. Thank you all so much for watching. Wait, why did I sound so sad to say that? Dear God. Wait, what is wrong with me? Okay, there we go. Thank you all so much for watching. I post all my stuff on YouTube as well. Big love, friend. Thank you so much. Sleeps, good to see you as always. Yeah, I post all my VODs to YouTube, and I also post on Twitter/X, whatever it's called this week, Twix. And as always, my name is Bite the Robot. Thank you all so much for coming to join me this evening, and catch y'all later. Peace out, everybody.